Greetings, planty people, and welcome back to my jungle. I hope you're all doing fabulous. I was feeling rather purple today, so that's the vibe. So today is a big job that I've been putting off for quite a long time. One of my goals is to replace all of these kind of coconut fibre moss poles into actual moss poles. And I did think about making my own, but then I'd have to get all the things and I was a little bit overwhelmed. So I got a whole load of these build your own moss poles from Amazon and a massive bag of moss from a garden centre. Isn't that amazing? This was £5. Let's get mossing. So the moss pole I'm going to be replacing today is for my Monstera Albo. I'll go grab her. This is my beautiful Valerie. Love naming my plants. And as you can see, if I can get you on camera, she won't stop growing. Since having her, I've had 4 new leaves. Since having a grow light on her as well, she won't stop. I'll show you the back. So I've got a predatory mites thing here to help against thrips, which I got the plant swap, and I've been air layering all along here and it's been very successful. The roots actually popping out there. So I'm going to replace the moss pole with an actual moss pole because look at that. She craves the moss. Don't we all crave the moss? Okay, slightly different angle. Far away. Can you hear me? I need to get a little microphone. Let me know if you've got any good recommendations. The first task is unassembling the whole moss pole. I'm going to start by taking off some of these bits and bobs. I'm going to pop you on another plant so it doesn't lose any potential. There you go, you live there for a bit. So I'm going to take some of these pins off. So let's snip some of these bits of string off. I've got a whole mishmash of solutions to keep this a bit more tidy, so I probably will need some more string and some more pins at some point. So I've got lots of little velcro-y bits, these little velcro things. These are really handy because you can reuse them once you've snipped it off, so you can just, and also it doesn't harm the plant because I feel like sometimes string can suffocate it a little bit. So I started to air lay it because I knew at some point I was going to replace it. But it's just one of those things that has taken me a long time to do for some reason. I think I knew it's because it's going to be a big job. Oh, this one's a rather rooty one. Oh, you're coming off. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So don't worry if it doesn't. But this one's doing amazing. Be very careful with the root. They can be a little bit delicate. There we go. See that little root there? There we go. I've moved you down so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so we've got a lovely new root there. I'm trying to save some of this moss because moss ain't cheap. To air layer, all you need to do is find some aerial roots or growth points, put some wet moss on it, not too wet because you don't want to rot it, and then kind of encapsulate it with some cling film. There you go. Doesn't matter if some of the moss is on there because I'm going to be mossing it up anyway. Does anyone else peel these bits off? I know you probably shouldn't, but it's so satisfying. Take some of this string off. I'm in kind of 2 minds whether to chop it or not because I am running out of room. I was thinking I could have it not on the stand and have it lower down and kind of keep it more narrow, but that's a bit awkward. I don't want to hinder its growth at any point. Okay, we've got another bit of Velcro. Oh, she's free. Another bit of Velcro. Save the Velcro. They come in handy. This is the part that I was scared to do because a part of the root's actually grown into the moss pole. Very carefully. Ooh. Right, I'll move you over there. I'll clean you up later. There we go. Lovely healthy root system. As you can see, she is gasping for a mossy pole. I'm going to lean you here very carefully against another moss pole and we'll start building the actual moss pole. So I've already pre-assembled the moss pole because it took me a ridiculous amount of time. I tried it out to see how long it would take and it took me longer than it should have. And the good thing is this is 2, so I was thinking 1 probably won't be enough, so I'm going to do 2. See what I mean? It's very fiddly. Oh no. Ta-da! Should we see how she's doing? Any roots popping at the bottom yet? No, I think she'll be okay for a while. Oh, actually, she's surprisingly rooty. Okay. Thing with Monstera, they don't like a pot that's too big because If you have too much soil, it holds too much moisture, and that's not what you want. So I have actually decided that I do want to upsize the pot because it is quite rooty, but you've got to bear in mind I'm going to be adding a moss pole which will be kind of partly in the soil anyway. So this is the pot that it was in, and this is the pot that I'm going to upgrade it to. I know it looks bigger, but the moss pole's quite wide. So I'm going to start by just kind of loosening some of the roots because I'm going to have to kind of shape the roots around the moss pole. I'm also holding it because obviously I don't want any accidents. And don't worry, there is a potting mat underneath this little piano stool of a table. I can literally just tip it off onto the mat. I'm a genius. Just putting some of that soil in at the bottom. Okay, this is the really tricky part. So I'm going to put it in and see. Okay, so I'm going to want it more this way. Have the moss pole there. And you can kind of squidge it down a bit. Lovely. Then we start filling her up. Like, I know it's better to do it lengthways, like on its side, but I don't have the room for that, so I've got to make do. Oh, actually, maybe I should have put the moss in first. Ugh, well, we're here now. Sorry this is so chaotic. I'm literally just kind of making it up as I go along. Make sure you're getting all those crevices. This is the Monstera mix from Soil Ninja. You want it nice and chunky. The chunkier the better. Does anyone have any experience, sorry I know you can't see me, but using, what's it called? Brain not working. Semi-hydro. Does anyone have any experience using semi-hydro on their Monsteras? Pressing it down to make sure it's all stable, and I think I need more soil. Give me soil in my plant, keep her growing. Right, so I know you can't see, but it's just over a centimetre from the lip here. You don't want to fill it up too much. And now I think I'm just going to pop a little bit of soil in the moss pole because it's obviously got a hollow bit down the hatch. Okay, now I'm going to move the table so I can actually see you. Here we go. Okay, it's time for some moss now. So I've got just half the pole here so far, and I'm going to add the next bit because I know it will need it as it's taller than it. So the moss I'm using, I'm actually not sure what it is. It looks a bit like sphagnum or forest moss or anything in between. And the good thing with this moss, it's already kind of slightly damp, like exactly how damp you want it. So I don't need to do anything. Just make sure to take some of these sticks out. I went straight back in the bag if you find any, because it just kind of, you want it just moss really. You don't want any rotting situation. In you go. Probably need like a stick. Oh, I always keep these plant sticks that come with your plants for this kind of situation. Let's hope I've got enough moss. It's like getting the last Pringle. That worked very nicely actually. You want it all nicely pressed in, but you don't want it to be completely compressed. You want it to stay wet, but you want to have the roots to actually be able to get in there. So, like I said at the beginning, it is actually my goal to replace most or even all of my moss poles to actual moss poles because you get so much better growth. I think the next one to do is my Mycons. She's over there because she's on a normal one, but it's always good to have the moisture on the moss pole because they're really hard to keep wet, whereas these, because they're more enclosed and it's actual moss, not coconut fibre, they stay so much more wet. Oh, look at that mossy goodness. Oh, the sun's coming out, that makes a change. Okay, is it time to add the next piece? Wherever have I put you? Oh, it's all the way over there. How tall do I want it? There we go. I want it level with the pattern, and it's got these little holes. Oh, lovely. How am I going to get up there? Ooh. And there we have it, moss in a pole. Okay, time for the fiddly part. Now I'm just kind of carefully ushering the roots into it. There we go, so that will nicely root amongst the moss. I found some ties. Oh, that's fiddly, so I'm just threading it through. So this stays at the length that I want it. So now I'm just going to secure with some of this Velcro to make sure it's actually, stop coming out. There we go. So it's actually attached to the pole, otherwise it will just grow everywhere. And I don't have the room for it to grow everywhere. So make sure it's tight, but not too tight. Give it a snip. There we go. Where else am I going to put one? I'm going to put one kind of towards the base as well. And the thing with Monstera, when you're attaching it to a pole, they're quite stiff, so kind of don't push it too much, and once it kind of grows to that direction you can adjust it again. Just try not to push it too hard because you can snap it, which I have done before. So as this moss is already the perfect wetness, I don't need to wet it. So this is the gorgeous finished product. I can't wait for it to grow all the way to the top. Let me know if you've got any tips, because I know that was a bit chaotic. I didn't actually know what I was doing. I just kind of was winging it and seeing what would happen. But I'm absolutely over the moon. I think it looks amazing. Oh, falling over. I think it looks amazing. I have made a right mess, but that means I've had a good time. So I'll leave all my socials down below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and goodbye.